Okay, this video is about framing up a space for a sauna. And it doesn't include actually installing the sauna. It starts with my research and then kind of where I wanted to place the the sauna, small one. Some things I did to prepare for installing, and then the video continues on with like what I did to frame it. I took some pictures, and I um, I wanted a sauna. I was exposed to saunas as a kid, and I have a steam bath already, but I thought a sauna would be nice. I like the dry heat of the sauna. So this is the room in the basement where it's going to go, and this is a SketchUp model of the area, and it's a basement heated living area on the one side, but on the other side is a crawl space, and the dirt level is a little bit higher there, and so I'm gonna have to dig that out. But basically, I'm gonna try to shoehorn a 4x4 sauna in here. And so, first thing I did was just sort of look on the internet, and I found several places where you could get these pre-cut sauna kits. Basically, if you frame up the room, even if you don't frame it to an exact size, you could just call them and say, "Hey, I want this size," and they would make it for you. But I figured I would buy just one that was already cut to the right size. So I looked at this particular site, and I found a one that would I thought would fit 4 foot by 4 foot. It's a pretty small sauna, but um, it's all I have room for, as you'll see if you continue to watch. And then I looked elsewhere. I found this one on Amazon, this Cedro kit. That price does not include a heater, by the way. It looked like a really nice kit, but I was, you can go to the Sauna Place store directly, and they have two kinds of kits. They have a Finlandia kit, and then they have this Cedro kit, and they look pretty nice. And but they were a little more money, so I ended up looking at a bunch of videos for like how to frame up a sauna, and there's quite a few resources out there if you want to, if you don't want to sit through my yammering. Anyway, I viewed a few of those, and then I decided to go ahead and try to um, get the details in sort of like pricing and differences between the sauna kits that I found. And there's that Cedarbrook company, and then there's a Sauna Place that has these two, either the Finlandia kits or the Cedro kits. And like I said, those kits look pretty nice. One of the concerns I had was when they could ship, and uh, this Superior sauna from in I guess it's in Wisconsin, was the shortest, but they were also kind of more pricey. I also thought about just buying the lumber myself, and I interacted with a guy in a local lumber yard here and found out what the pricing would be, and then I had to figure out about how many boards I'd need, and it was significantly less money, but of course I'd have to buy a heater, and I wouldn't get a lot of the little this and that's that come with the kits. And so I thought, well, I could buy just the heater and the control and the all the other stuff separately, but I figured that I wouldn't I wouldn't go this route. I ended up not going this route. So anyway, here we are back in the model, and this is sort of what I've got to start with, what I've got to deal with. Um, and we have some obstacles. There's a brick wall over there that's masonry. It's for the fireplace, and there's also this vent for the plumbing for the sump. And there's also this pillar, this 16 by 16 masonry that is holding up the house, which I don't want to, can't take that down without taking out the house. Although I could replace it with a pole, I decided I didn't want to mess with that. I just and put in a sauna and leave everything alone as much as possible. But I do have to remove this dirt, and I do have to remove that vent, or not remove it, but replace it. But I did some rough calculations, and I figured I probably could shoehorn a 4x4 in here. I didn't do a lot of research before I went with it. So this is basically what it looks like: the masonry wall on the left, and then the existing basement on the heated living area on the right, and the vent. And that's proposed where the door would go that would enter into the sauna. So I got to take out the vent and remove, no, replace or reroute the vent. And so let me just take out some of this stuff here. Take out the dirt. Take out this. Actually, I left that. The picture you'll see in a moment has that pressure treated plywood still in there, but take out these existing framing. And so this is kind of what my plan is. And so I did dig out the dirt. That's like about a cubic yard of dirt, which is actually a lot of dirt when you have to move it and dig it, chop it out. So there it is after I got the dirt taken out, and I realized that there is a sill, not a sill, it's a footing for the chimney that is wider than I thought. It was under the dirt, and so I didn't know it was there. And so getting the 4x4 in there is going to be even more of a problem, as it turns out, because of that footing. So I got to fit it between these two footings. And this is these are the forms for the concrete that I'm going to pour. And here's that masonry wall. So I'm just right up against it. But I figured it would fit. So I've got a bunch of plans now, but I need to figure out how much wood I need and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my next step here, I think. So here's the slab, the proposed slab, and the proposed framing for the door. And notice there's blocking in there for the heater. Proposed framing for that wall, ceiling. Not everything's 16 on center. I had to kind of improvise here. So I got this all typed into SketchUp, and then I kind of counted everything and tried to make a list for what I needed to get going on this. I still hadn't even ordered the kit yet. I wasn't sure which kit I was going to buy, and what just appeared back there is that's the footing associated with the masonry chimney wall down there, and that's kind of in the way. So I had to kind of frame around it a little bit, make a pressure treated little stub wall thing, and then I got to work around this. And I'm not so sure that this slab is gonna keep from cracking, but it's the best I could do. So anyway, here's my kind of counting from the SketchUp diagram. I could kind of count it up and enter this stuff into Excel for to get ready to type my list into my order for the home center store. Turned out I bought from Home Depot. They offered a thing where you order it online and you go and they just toss it in your car. And when you're talking about 660 pounds of concrete, and somebody's going to put it in my car for me, I like that. So I got a few bits of plumbing. I got some wire. I got the 10-3. I think I could have gotten by with a 10-2. Got 11 bags of concrete, and I got some 2x4s. I got some pressure treated for the bottom plate, more plumbing, and then we got some little odds and ends for screeds, and I got the pressure treated for the forms, and I actually had to return that breaker because I got the wrong kind. But anyway, I put down some insulation and the forms, and I poured the concrete. And just have some slides here to show you. I didn't take any videos of this stuff, but I got the concrete all in there. Not an easy task. Um, and I'm no expert at this stuff, obviously, none of it. I'm not an expert in any of it, so I'm just sort of fumbling along, doing the best I can. But the concrete is going to be open on all the sides, except for it'll be bonded to the footing of the pillar, and it shouldn't bond to the existing slab because there's a piece of plastic there. So I'm hoping for not cracking, but if it cracks, it cracks. But anyway, here's the framing that I did after I got um, all that lumber and stuff from Home Depot, and I cut this corner out of a 4x4 that I already had. Yeah, I don't know if it was the right thing to do. I probably could have built one up, but that's what I ended up with, and so that's all the framing pretty much. And I had to work around that sill and chip away at it a little bit to get it to fit. But that thing was hard to move. So anyway, I finally ordered the kit, and that was after I actually framed it all up, and I got it for a 76 and a half high door. You can specify that. I still didn't frame this 4x6 vent. I'm not sure what I want to do with the vent exactly. I'm not sure if I want to put it directly above the heater because I read that's not such a good idea. It's kind of wasteful. Um, but anyway, this is what they provide. They give you the vapor barrier. They don't give you tape. They don't give you nails. And they gave you this really kind of lame drawing. I mean, it gives you an idea, but yeah, I haven't done the vent yet. Um, and even though I've already insulated, I was thinking maybe the vent would go over here, but they say you should put it high and diagonal, so I really want it over there. But anyway, right here next to the door, they don't give you any kind of detail about how far over that is, and I wanted to make it easy for myself when I got the kit. So if you zoom in down here, you can see that I've framed it up 2¼ inches actually from the outside, and or from the corner, so that the door, uh, the trim along the door, like this piece right here, will fit nicely, and I won't have to have a filler strip in there of cedar. I mean, I could, but I figured that I'd try to get this about right so that I didn't have to fiddle around when I finally got it. Um, I could have waited for the kit and then framed up the door afterwards, but I don't know. I just wanted to frame it up and be done with it, so I did. I got it framed up this way. Hopefully it'll work. So this is what it looks like. Got the blocking in there for the heater. I got the wire in there for the heater, and so that's all framed up. And let's see. Yeah, so this is going to be my insulation. So I kind of just tossed some insulation in between the studs, and just so I could figure out how much I needed for the for my order from Home Depot. So I pulled all those pieces out and laid them out in a separate SketchUp diagram just to kind of get an idea about how it would work, just so I knew that I was getting enough. And I also used this for cutting, actually, which worked pretty good. There was a few that weren't right, but most of them were good. So I did pretty much all the cutting outside where I wouldn't have a lot of dust. And so here's my insulation calculation, and came out to be 3 rolls. And there were some wider rolls that I could have bought, but they were so expensive and way more than I needed. So I got 3 rolls of this 15-inch, and then I kind of improvised to make it wider when I needed it. I got some staples, and I got some conduit to put the wire in, and I also got this seal. The guy at Cedarbrook said you ought to seal that concrete, so I got that seal, and I got some 14 gauge wire for the lighting. So yeah, I think we already see these pictures. I think we might have. Anyway, this is the unit all insulated already, and this is kind of where I am now. I've got it. I still haven't cut the hole for the door. I figured I'd do that when I get the kit. Now, these pictures aren't quite in the right order, but this is basically insulation. And then I got one more order going. I bought some aluminum tape, and I bought a correct breaker, the one that fits my circuit box. And I also bought some trim so that I can trim out the 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 door. And I also bought some stainless steel nails because they're not included according to the guy at Cedarbrook. So I got the 2-inch ones. I probably don't need. I probably could have got by with the 1.5 inch, but these ones were found. So that's about it. Now I'm just waiting for the kit to arrive, and we'll see what happens. I'll make another video when I get the kit.